As San Francisco's district attorney, Harris has focused on fighting serious and violent crime. Under her watch, the felony conviction rate in San Francisco is at its highest in 14 years.
Created a reentry initiative called Back on Track that's focused on the 18 through 24-year-old first-time low-level nonviolent drug sales offender. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
Diverted to Back on Track, a reentry program that diverts young, nonviolent, first-time drug offenders from prison back into productive life.
We charge them for committing the crime. They go to a courtroom and plead guilty because they did commit a crime. And this is about accountability. There's no fiction here. It's about, yeah, you did commit a crime, accept it, own up to it, and then let's talk about what we can do to change the circumstances going.
So yeah, let's talk about it. The age from 18 to 24 is a real impressionable age. This is the age, especially inside of Los Angeles, California, where we got the Rampart Division and all that extra stuff that goes on inside of that community, that these are actually even gang members signing up to become police officers. That's the biggest gang that they got over there. So they planting drugs on people and everything else. Now, when you got 18 to 24 and you're facing a crime, now you're telling them that they're going to either take this conviction and this felony so that they don't have to do jail time. What would you do in that situation if you was 18 to 24? Everybody would be avoiding jail and just taking that felony and then trying to go about their day. She's passing off felonies, right? It was not her job to convict criminals. It was her job to win cases. And point being, she was winning cases with this.
We charge them for committing the crime. They go to a courtroom and plead guilty because they did commit a crime. And this is about accountability. There's no fiction here.
So now let's talk about accountability. If she want to take accountability, make them youngsters take accountability for things that they supposedly have done, why isn't she taking accountability for Jamal Trulove? Let's hear his story.
Years I would have thought that they were going to charge me for Sells murder. I never talked to no detective, no police officer, no DA, nobody.
Just arrested and then charged?
Arrested and charged, that's it.
Was the first time you saw Kamala Harris in person the day that the verdict was issued?
She showed up at the two most pivotal times in this first trial, and me being convicted and me being sentenced. She wanted to be present for a celebration of a conviction.
That's what it felt like, a celebration?
A celebration, that's what it felt like. The reactions I get when I tell people my story is, they say it's the worst nightmare. You know, it's the closest thing to dying.
Jamal, I'm going to read you a quote real quick. The job of a progressive prosecutor is to look out for those overlooked, to speak up for those whose voices aren't being heard, to see and address the causes of crime, not just their consequences, and to shine a light on the inequality and unfairness that lead to injustice. It is to recognize that not everyone needs punishment, that what many need, quite obviously, is help. Kamala Harris wrote that in her book, The Truth We Hold. Does that sound consistent with the with the brand of justice that you saw administered by offices that she was running?
It definitely sounds like Kamala Harris right now as a senator. But at the time of her being the head district attorney of San Francisco, that is almost polar opposite of what I felt and what our community felt in San Francisco.
So Jamal, where are we?
Right now we are in Sunnydale Projects, where I was born and raised at. This isn't a place that you'll want to bring outsiders into, and a place that they don't want to go. This ain't a place that feels comfortable. It feels like you might get robbed, you might get shot.
The police were keeping files on you and your brothers and other people who were living in Sunnydale from a very young age.
They already had me labeled, because I'm in this community, as a potential gang member, potential killer, potential drug dealer. You gotta wake up to the fact that, you know, things are set up against us.
There is a conspiracy.
Yes.
It happened to you.
Exactly.
It's proven in court.
Absolutely. Places like this have been developed for predominantly African-American people to not be able to succeed beyond it.
Yeah. What did you know about Kamala Harris? What did you know about San Francisco having a black DA.
Nobody in the hood ever worried or focused on the DA position in general, but people did focus on it just a tad bit, that it was black, and feeling like, okay, this black lady in office, Kamala Harris, she was gonna understand where we come from, you know, and have more of a sympathetic way of prosecuting people that come from our communities who have been plagued with no opportunities. This is Hunter's Point, where these different projects and communities used to really war with each other.
Jamal, in July 2007, what's going on in your life at that point?
I had recently just came off of I Love New York, and also that's when my friend Sel Kuka got killed.
More than a year goes by and no one's been arrested in the case. You hadn't even been questioned.
Haven't even been questioned, no. The police was still, you know, trying to get a conviction by all means necessary. When I was arrested for it, the community knew I didn't do it. And it was here we go again. See, this is why we don't trust, you know, law enforcement, because it gets to a point where somebody who didn't do something goes to jail for it. I don't have no history of crime. What's up, boy? I have a history of being around in the community, but that doesn't mean that I'm a suspect. I'm like, oh man, I'll be out within 72 hours. They're gonna figure this out. They're gonna clear this up.
And then when you found out what the evidence was that they supposedly had you on, there wasn't much there. Can you describe what it was?
They had a woman saying that she seen me kill Sel. The second witness that they had really wasn't a witness at all. She said anything that the police officers wanted her to say, and they said that her recollection of the events was extremely credible. So that's what ultimately got the arrest warrant.
The District Attorney of San Francisco, Kamala Harris, appeared in the courtroom during your trial twice.
Yeah, the two times that Kamala Harris showed up to my trial was when I got convicted, and also when they laid down the sentencing.
When you saw her on the day that the verdict was handed down, did you take that as a bad sign?
It felt to me that she was well aware about my case, and she was there to set her presence, almost take pride in getting a conviction. When I put in my appeal, the people that's fighting against my appeal to keep the conviction is the Attorney General office. I learned it reading, you know, their reply to my appeal, and you see Kamala Harris' name at the bottom. And now it's starting to feel a little personal.
When you win the $13.1 million, it's a massive settlement. Did you feel like that was enough?
There's not an amount that could get back those 7 years. That 6.5 years that I spent in prison. But instead of me coming home feeling like I was a victim, I wanted to prove that I'm a survivor, and I will not let my story go unheard. You know, I'm not necessarily saying I'm looking for an apology, but some acknowledgement from her that she could have messed up will be, of course, that'd be huge. You could have made some mistakes. You could have missed some things. For me, it was a big miss. You know, I had life in prison. I've met people in prison that was wrongfully convicted. I want my story to be out to provoke reform ultimately. Beyond that, I want to be able to be who I want to be. I'm an actor, you know, I'm a musician, I'm a father. I'm more than this person that was framed. I'm more than this person that was wrongfully convicted.
Now, her words, she had 18 to 24, these kids are stupid. These are your kids that she's talking about, she's calling stupid. We know that our children, underneath certain circumstances, do not have the most non-toxic environment for them to live in, for them to thrive in. So they see a lot of self-hate because they see that of the same. They have no sense of pride inside of themselves. But that does not mean that they're stupid. That just means they're a product of their environment, and they're making bad decisions. They're making bad choices based upon where they are living at, because they're in fight or flight every single day, something that she knows nothing about. So now, Jamal Trulove was just one of how many people that I told you her job was not to convict criminals, it was to win cases. And you heard it from somebody who dealt with her. Now, you can take this information for what it is, or you can take it for something that you want to fantasize and romanticize and have a savior complex and think that this black woman is going to save you. Remember, a black face in a high place don't mean freedom, but you choose your freedom if you choose to free your mind. Put your bread at where your head at and lay on it.